Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about the importance of the initial success. And what do I mean by that? We talk about how to be successful and so on. And I have discussed about this in my book, Journey of Success, as well. But the first test of success is so important, so crucial, that I think we should do everything that we can to have that one initial achievement, because that in alone will be motivation for all subsequent achievements later on in life and career. Let me give you some examples. For example, let's talk about academic publication. It's so difficult to get your first publication out. It is extremely difficult, yes. But once you get your first publication out, that thrill of seeing your name on the paper, of having your name in PubMed, or just the fact that you have a paper published that metamorphoses from a vague idea to an actual concrete publication, that gives you lots of inspiration, and you want to make that happen again and again. And you already have the experience and you know how to make it happen. And that's why it is more straightforward now to make it happen. And that's why it's so important to get your publication in a top tier journal. That will help with your subsequent publications or subsequent success, because once you have a pretty big paper out there in top tier journal, people will notice your name. People will write to you. The journals will start inviting you for doing peer reviews. And once your name is out there, it is easier for you to publish your subsequent papers, because people know who you are, where that paper is coming from. This is valid for all walks of life. I give the example of paper, but let's talk about, let's say, making money. If you hear from the billionaires, they say that it's very difficult to make the first million, to make 1 million, but it becomes easier to make 10 million from one, and 20 from 10 and 30 from 20. But the first million, it's going to be really, really difficult. But once you hit that benchmark, even if you got interest in your sum, even if you got, I don't know, 6% interest rate of return, when your principal is $100,000, it's going to be just $6,000. But if your principal is 1 million, then you are going to get $60,000 in return with the same rate of return. And then when you keep adding that and compounding that interest, it will give you huge benefit. So hitting the first big milestone is always difficult, but it's worth all the pain and efforts, because the subsequent journey is going to be easier for the fact that you hit the first milestone. So think of it as a graph that goes steeply up. The hurdle for you to hit that first big achievement goes steeply up. But after you hit it, to achieve the subsequent milestones, it does not go as steep. The slope is less. But for the first milestone, the slope is really big, and it is difficult. There is no sugarcoating the fact that it is absolutely difficult to make the first $1 million, to publish the first paper, to buy the first house, to raise the first kid, compared to the subsequent milestones. And there is a Facebook group about business class flights. I found it very interesting. One day I saw there about people asking, like, how do you people fly business class. It's super expensive. And one of the people who is an entrepreneur and flies business class all the time, he responded saying that he first flew business class or first class several years ago. And until then, he was always flying economy. But once he got that experience of the first class and business class, I don't know how he managed to get that. At the time, he was not a very successful businessman. But once he flew that, he felt like he could never go back to flying economy again. And of course, there is some arrogance in there. We fly economy class all the time. But what that person was trying to hint there is once you get that initial taste of success, you don't want to go back to being not successful again. And you already know that process. So subsequent success steps become easier. So that person who does everything in his or her capacity continue to have that experience. So the bottom line is the slope is very steep, but it's worth the pain to achieve your first milestone, after which the subsequent milestones will hopefully become easy. Good luck.